older brother, you know, he was out in the streets and whatnot before I was, so he would bring the styles home, and the Puma suits and the waves and, you know, all this. So whatever he come through the door with, that was hip, you know what I mean? And I hopped on it.
Yeah, my Uncle Adrian, he was one of the ones who, like, as far as the family goes, you know, my blood family introduced me to hip hop. Really, it was my mom's boyfriend, this guy named Free. He used to freestyle, and he was just really into hip hop. He was from Boston, and he came down and just taught me a lot about hip hop and put me onto different tapes and what was real hip hop, what was really going on, not just the stuff on TV. Like, he let me listen to like Redman, you know, and stuff like that.
My uncle, man, like, I looked up to him so much, you know what I mean? Being that he was just older than me, and then I didn't have a dad around, so he was kind of like, you know, my father figure. So everything that he did, I was just behind him. So, and he used to scratch, like we had Technics in the crib, you know what I'm saying? And he used to scratch up like Rock the Bells, LL, you know what I'm saying? Black Sheep, EPMD, you name it, Slick Rick, you know, like, and then, you know, we're a West Indian household, so he used to play like Barrington Levy, you know, Bob Marley, bunch of stuff, man, Jimmy Cliff, you know, and just go in, and I was just there like, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, what's up? And then that's really like how I fell into the music. And the first thing is funny, cause like the first thing I ever wrote to, like the first time I ever wrote a rhyme, it was in 5th grade to Only Built for Cuban Links, right? So then when I got a chance to meet Ray, you know what I mean, it was through, you know, my manager Woody, and he was just like, man, like, just bigging me up. And I was like, yo, only if you knew when I was a shorty, like, yo, if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't even be doing this right now, you know what I'm saying? So it's ill, you know, just to get that respect from him. So, yeah, man, like, really my uncle set it off for me.
Like NWA, Dr. Dre, Snoop, you know what I'm saying, all the OG West Coast cats. So she put me on a lot of music, just being around her all the time. I used to be around my mom a lot when she was doing her music, and just what she listened to inspired me to do it as well.
Yeah, it's gonna sound crazy, but really, the streets, like, I didn't know I was living hip hop until I started rapping. Like, I really didn't know how much of this was already in me and a part of my life and the way we speak, and you know what I'm saying? My average thought was a rap off top, you know what I mean? I didn't know that I could do this until I started doing it. But my pops actually bought me the first rap album that I ever had, which was Fear of a Black Planet, Public Enemy. Because he saw me listen to NWA and, you know, this and that, and was like, hold up, well, this is some positive, you know, rap, you need to listen to it, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to my pops, shout out to Flavor Flav, Chuck D, Terminator X. That was like the first album I actually owned that was a record that you know, was hip hop, that I was like, wow, this is real, this is me, you know what I'm saying?
Kind of like accidentally, like my parents aren't like, you know, hip hop heads where they was just feeding it to me. I just had young parents. So, you know, when I was 6, they was 25, 26. So they was just playing what they liked and just happened to have a 6-year-old in the back seat. And that's how I got caught up, you know what I mean? That's how it just caught up to me.
Introduced me to hip hop. I think it just had to be my parents. You know, I always say a part of my show, you know, I was raised on oldies and gangsta music. And my parents was the parents that loved the party, man. That's all I would hear, man, is oldies and gangsta music. Dre and Snoop, Al Green, Isley Brothers, Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, Tupac, Mac 10, Dub C, Ice Cube, West Side Connection, back and forth. And, you know, that was just me as a kid running around, man, and listening to them tunes and falling in love with it, you know. And I appreciate my parents for that, because it gives me the balance in the music, you know, when I'm creating, that I need to be, take my artistry to the next level.
I'm from a town called Greensboro, North Carolina, and it's a college town. We got this college there called A&T State University, and there's people from everywhere. And there was a bunch of guys from New York who used to have cassette tapes of like Mr. Magic, Marley Marshall. They used to play it, And they kind of introduced me to that whole, you know, the tape, the whole culture of just recording cassettes. And I used to listen to all these shows and hear all these different rappers. And that kind of really pushed me all the way deep into hip hop.
Well, I mean, you know, I was DJing before, like I said, before the hip hop records kind of came out. I remember us, you know, especially being in Philly, I remember getting New York tapes. You know, that someone would have a tape of Harlem World or someone would have a tape of T-Connection, and it would be a 19th generation tape that was sounded muffled. You could barely even hear what they were saying, but you almost kind of closed your eyes and envisioned what that party scene was like. I remember going to a block party and somebody advertised that we have the Fearless 4 MCs coming down, and they actually set up 4 microphones on the pavement. And it was hundreds of people just standing around because it was kind of like, you know, we don't really know what this is. We only hear. We never get a chance to see it. You know, and this is our first chance to see it. And of course, nobody ever showed up. But I remember going to a concert in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia Arena, and Jimmy Spicer was there. Curtis Blow was there. And it was funny because Jimmy Spicer actually had a girl DJing for him, and Curtis Blow had Run DMC DJing for him. So, you know, it was just, you know, and that was, you know, it was big. You know, it's 10, 15,000 people there, you know. And, you know, before that, I had never been to a show. You know, I think me saying this right now is the first time my mom's going to realize that I snuck out and went to that show. But, you know, it was something that you just had to see firsthand, you know, because, you know, back then, this was the first time that somebody made some music for me. You know, I loved all of the funk and soul records, but that was pretty much my mom and my brothers that I just kind of picked up. You know, hip hop was mine, so I was like, I need to go see and figure out whatever I can figure out how this whole thing works.